But let's start with the disappointment of the year, man. Again, for it being a good banner year, lots of fights. It's really tough to find something that disappointed. But again, this is the nature of boxing. I mean, there's always going to be something that disappoints us, man. So you want to get started with that, Gio? What was your disappointment of the year?
All right, yeah, we can begin with that, but we can go ahead and show you guys how you guys kind of voted here on the YouTube community tab. Pretty bad ones. I mean, who wants to win the award for being bad, right? I'm sure nobody does, but you guys see the candidates there on your screens. Of course, we had Tyson Fury's performance against Ngannou, Francis Ngannou, MMA
Hmm.
fighter. He was dropped. He was supposed to dominate this fight. A lot of people in boxing were not happy because he didn't make us look the best, right? Our boy Jake Paul was holding it down, Chris. He's been holding it down for years. But Tyson Fury was supposed to go in there, knock this guy out. First of all, train. Seemed like he didn't even do that. He didn't take it seriously. He almost fumbled the bag like Wilder did. Almost, but he got the decision in the eyes of many people, even controversial. Um, and we'll get into that too. The controversial slash robbery of 2023. We can get into that in a bit, but your candidates there, you see it: Tyson Fury against Ngannou, terrible performance. Of course, we had Shakur Stevenson against Edwin de los Santos. Both men just didn't throw many punches. Was probably the most boring fight I've ever watched, Chris. But
Yeah.
and look, and you guys see the poll there: 47%, the majority, 47%. Um, Other options: Showtime going out of business, no more Showtime, of course. We don't have HBO anymore, and Showtime followed a few years later. Now they won't be broadcasting boxing anymore. And of course, Charlo, who didn't throw any punches against Canelo, but did throw punches against the mother of his children and got arrested for it and all that. That was, of course, very, very disappointing. Honestly, I thought that was going to win hands down, Chris. But as you
Yeah.
guys see it there on your screen, more people were disappointed by Shakur Stevenson's performance. So there you have it on your screen. No secret. You guys, the third judge, you guys chose Shakur Stevenson's performance against Edwin de los Santos. De los Santos, who broke a record for least number of punches landed in a 12-round fight. And for you guys, that was your winner.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, yeah, that is a big one. That's a doozer. It was on a Thursday. Obviously, we know Shakur is like, he's one of the most skilled fighters in boxing. So, a fight like this, that broke records when it comes to action, when it comes to punches thrown, landed, all that. Like, it's a really bad look. But yeah, Gio, I think I'm gonna sneak in and
Ooh.
even disappointing in my opinion, in my part, and it might not win the full on award. But I'm gonna throw in Wilder. You mentioned his name earlier, and
Wow.
come on, man. We finally get him in the same building with Joshua. He's at 38 years old. He is at the tail end of his career. Everything there is set for him to have this mega fight with a Joshua who also lost, a couple years back, but was able to bounce back. He did his job. So for me, the disappointment of the year has to go to Deontay Wilder for just fumbling this big opportunity. We talked about upwards of $50 million. How do you ruin that at 38 years old? All you have to do is beat the guy in front of you, do your job, and then the rest is history. So for me, the disappointment of the year was somebody that we didn't talk about for the previous 10 months, and Deontay Wilder fumbling the bag.
Let's go to some comments here. Big Bro says one thing about Charlo is that it's not really disappointing. He and his bro used to doing dumb ish. So he's not surprised by that. Um, man. Yeah, that's a tough one. And that was inserted obviously toward the end. That fight just happened last week. So it didn't get a chance to get on the poll. We're trying to wait it out as much as we could, knowing that there was that big event in Saudi Arabia, Day of Reckoning, and also Inoue fight on the 26th. So I'm going to disagree with the voters. I do not agree that the biggest disappointment was Shakur Stevenson, even though it was a terrible fight. Chris, I mean, I think we can agree that this was the worst fight of the year, correct?
Right, for sure, by far.
All right.
What's your pick then for disappointment of 2023?
Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to go with Charlo.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to go with Charlo for similar reasons that you're going with Wilder. I mean, this guy's been talking trash for years, calling out Canelo for years, um, leading up to the fight. He started talking less and less trash, but he had that big payday secured. He got in the fight, Chris. He didn't throw a punch. Well, when we came out on our post fight reaction, I said, "Man, that guy, he's not a lion. He was lying, Chris. He was lying. He didn't throw many punches. He fought like a little kitty. Disappointing. He gave up. He never tried to win this fight, and that was disappointing. And then, of course, the audio came out of the stuff that happened with the mother of his children. Him bragging about hitting her. I think uh, I don't know what word you want to use. Biggest loser, biggest fraud. I don't know what you want to use, but to me, I think that's Charlo for his terrible disappointment in the ring, not throwing punches against Canelo, but throwing punches against women.
Yeah, when you encompass everything, just not just taking that L inside the ring, but taking that L outside the ring, and giving us, a performance where, even though Shakur threw the least amount of punches, it almost felt like, Charlo gave him a run for his money on that one. And again, it's a big payday. It's against the pound for pound, one of the very best, the face of boxing. This is where even in defeat, you could look good, but he looked awful in defeat. Like you said, didn't want to throw anything, coward in the biggest moment of his career. Again, I think it's forgivable if you lose against the very best, against a guy that's, even though you're not maybe bigger in stature, but bigger in terms of strength. There's no shame in losing, but the way he went out and the way his attitude responded outside of the ring, I guess we can give him this award, Gio.
And you know what? Look, he also didn't support his brother during his fight either. His brother was damn near crying in the post fight press conference, talking about someone tell my brother I love him and someone tell him I won. He's not here at my fight. But look, you guys in the chat can help us decide. Chat, the voters on the YouTube community went with Shakur. I'm going with Charlo. Chris is going with Wilder. But Chris, I know he wasn't on that poll, so I'm not sure if you want to go with Charlo or if you want to wait for the chat to help us out with this one. It looks like this is going to be a majority decision because it wasn't a flat out win for anybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to vote on this Charlo one. I guess in the end he took two L's, this calendar year. Shakur, I don't think this will happen again. I'll give him one L. But at least he kept his hands to himself outside the ring. So yeah, man, let's give it over to Charlo, man.
Congratulations, Charlo. Not sure that he wants to win this award, and you know what? I'm not gonna give him a clap for it. I'm not gonna give him a clap for this one because this is nothing to celebrate. Disappointment of 2023, Jermell. Correct? Is it Jermell?
Jermell, yeah.
Jermell Charlo